8 o'clock, so I just thought I'd give this a quick whirl. We've got it in the logo. So, continuous car drawings. Don't take the pen off the paper. I don't often do it live on Twitter, so I thought it was going to go. So I'm going to create the logo, the Scalextric logo, in a continuous line. So without taking the pen off the paper, prior to doing the box art at 8 o'clock with Mr. Goy, is do this now. So, move on to Scalextric. So, text is very tricky to do. So I'm just going to start. I'm not going to take the. Always look at the screen. So I've never attempted this logo before. I'm doing the box art at. So the new box art was released yesterday or even this morning for the Lotus set. So the first time it's been done, and been given permission to create it as a drawing. So I'm just doing this as a very quick before starting at 8 o'clock on Instagram and on the just a very basic Scalextric logo. So I'm just going to start with to get some colour into it. There we are. Very quick, but there's the Scalextric logo. Always have to make sure I've spelt it right. I'm pretty good at spelling things wrong, so I'm just going to make sure I've got the logo there. And then probably a little bit lighter than that one actually. Yeah, sky blue. No, rather than that one. So as I say, tune in at 8 o'clock for the box art to be done. That was just a little sample of what could be how it's created with a continuous line and reworked over the top. So see it at at 8 o'clock to do the box art of the latest Colin Chapman Team Lotus triple pack. That's quite a tongue twister of this, and as I've just done the logo, and there we are. See you in a bit. Ta-da! Got a bit of a cool thing going on here.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually today was the first time anybody's seen this product from Scalextric. Just to introduce myself, my name's Simon. I work for Scalextric on the marketing and licensing side of things. So my role within the business really is to help decide what products we make, what cars we do. I get to go to all the race meets, media days, see race teams, go to car museums, all that sort of stuff, and then help the business decide what models we're going to make, what new toolings, new cars, and also what new liveries. So,
I mean, it sounds awful. I mean,
it's tough, mate.
Having to go to race meetings. I mean, dear. when racing's happening, obviously. So, can you clearly see everything that's going on over here?
Yeah, I can see our new box art for one of our big sort of flagship products this year on the screen. I can see your pad ready to go.
Ready to go, good. And as a little cheeky little thing, there we are. There's your logo done it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's right, Nick. There we are. So so had a little practice earlier. So, in terms of doing that, I haven't practiced this at all. So how it works is I draw the entire image without taking the pen off the paper. So the outline as such is done that way. So I'm going to be aiming to do all three cars and a bit of the background. So this is the Colin Chapman Team Lotus triple pack. So that's quite a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's full size. It's actually the genius of Colin Chapman Team Lotus triple pack. It's a real longest title we can go for on this one. So we've got the Lotus 25, which is one of our latest Formula 1 cars.
Yep.
In the early 1960s. We've got the 49, which is a very famous Formula 1 car from the late 1960s, very early 70s, and the 72, which is sort of came after the 49 and sort of heralded the era of sort of that more modern looking 1970s era of Formula 1 cars. And the idea was just to put it together, three of them in the same pack, because all three cars obviously were designed by Colin Chapman. All three cars are Lotuses. They're all driven by very famous drivers. The 25 is actually the first Grand Prix victory for the 25, which was in the 1962 Belgian Grand Prix at the old Spa, the proper scary, nuts Spa.
Yeah.
Scarier than the one today. If anyone wants to give that a Google, there's an amazing picture I found when doing the research for that car of Jim Clark flat out through one of the quick bends. He's meters away from a house. There's no guardrails. There's no armcos. There's just a field and a bank to go into if he made a mistake. And while he's going around that corner, he's got one hand on the wheel and the other one is flipping a set of V's to the photographer. It's an absolutely amazing photograph of Jim Clark really driving the wheels off something.
Awesome. Well, what I'm going to do...
49 is from...
Well, I'm going to start drawing whilst you're start explaining. But as we go along, we'll just discuss all things Scalextrics, obviously this set, and also some of the other things that you've been involved with as well. So I'm going to start drawing, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So the one in the middle obviously is the 49, and we chose that one because it's the first Grand Prix victory that Lotus 49 had in the gold leaf colours. It's the Spanish Grand Prix of '68, and it's got another famous Lotus driver in it, which is Graham Hill. So it's really cool to do another. We've done a few Graham Hill cars now. Really cool to be able to do that sort of famous crash helmet of his that Damon obviously wore as well, and with gold leaf colours on it, and it looks really cool. And the final one in the set is the 72 from the Spanish Grand Prix of '72, which is Fittipaldi's car. It's the first Grand Prix victory for JPS Lotus 72. So all three cars have got a really cool sort of bit of history in them, and all three cars look really cool together. And it's nice to be able to put three iconic liveries like that. You know, the green of the British Racing green of the Lotus, the gold leaf of the 49, and the JPS of the 72 in one set.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks, and the detail now in your cars are phenomenal. Like the amount of detail you get into them, and I've really seen the last few years the cars really increasing in their accuracy. So in terms of how it works, how do you go about selecting the cars? How do you go, right, this is a set we want to put together, and these are the cars we're going to do it like, and then how do you go about kind of asking the manufacturers, the licensee holders about doing that?
So it depends on what car you want to do. So say we're looking at a modern car, say a Lamborghini Centenario we do, or a McLaren 720S. In that case, then we already have a relationship with those particular manufacturers, and we basically look at what people like, what gets a lot of likes on Instagram, what do people like looking at on Twitter, what do they see in London and chase down the street with their camera phones and things like that. That sort of hypercar, supercar that people love for that part of our range, because those cars are to appeal to kids. They're super resistant, they're strong, they're tough, they're not as detailed as the 49, the 72 or the 25 you see here. They're toys. They're designed for people to open on Christmas Day play with it on Boxing Day, smash it into the skirting board, bounces off, and it carries on going. So we choose those sort of, child-friendly Scalextric cars just to make sure that a kid will see it on a shelf or in an Argos catalogue or on a website and look at it and go, oh, wow, this is the coolest looking car. This is what I want. This is kind of like a Hot Wheels type thing, and that's why they want it. When it comes to the things like the 25, we have to be a bit more careful because we have to make sure that it's a car we're going to invest a lot of money in. These tools cost a lot to produce a new car, and it has to be something that people again are going to find exciting. I mean, we could do any old Formula One car from the 60s and 70s, and it would look quite nice. We could do a lovely old Matra or the Honda or something like that, and they're cool and they're iconic and they're still something that will get people excited. But it needs to have that little bit extra. It needs to have that level of passion to it, which is why the 25 works so well. And we also this year have released a Tyrrell P34, the six-wheeler.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's got six wheels. It's exciting. It's not been done that much as a slot car. 25 has not been done since the 60s. So it gives people that opportunity to have an excuse to buy it, to have that excuse of, oh yeah, this is a really nicely detailed Scalextric car, buy this. And it also gives us that opportunity to do something that other people aren't doing at the moment.
So in terms of like the heritage and stuff, so do you, like I say, so when you're selecting like the older, the younger generation may or may not recognise, do you try and appeal to like an age range that do remember it and go, actually, I remember those racing, that's what I grew up with F1 looking like type of thing? So how do you, is that how you go about it in terms of the heritage of F1 and other kind of other, not just F1 but touring cars or kind of Volvo 850s and Super Tourers? How do you go about selecting those older generation of racers?
Well, really, we look at sort of the racing world around us. So we just released, or soon to be releasing, a Mark III Capri. We have data that Ford does really well. That all generations love Ford because kids like Ford because of modern stuff, Focus RSs, Ford GTs. Dads love Ford, no matter how old they are, going right back to Anglias, Cortinas, then Escort, Mark 1s, 2s, Cosworths, Sapphires, RS500s. Everyone seems to love Ford. So, sort of like a Capri, we knew that, well, Dad will like the Capri, Granddad will like the Capri, and kids, well, if their dad gets excited by it, then they probably will as well. But we look at what attracts the crowds at race meets as well. At Goodwood, the members meeting, the Jerry Marshall Trophy, that's got bigger and bigger every year, bigger names in it, bigger crowds watching it. People absolutely love it. So we knew by doing a Mark III Capri, it can put into that sort of zeitgeist of people enjoying that Group 1 and very early Group A touring cars. And therefore we knew it would be a good thing to do and a strong runner.
Yeah. Randomly, I've just had his son, Gregor Marshall, drop me a message about doing his dad's cars. So, Jerry Marshall, the name I know of. So yeah.
I mean, you've got to do Baby Bertha, the great big sort of special saloon.
Yeah.
So it's just the coolest thing.
Yeah, he wants a mixture of his cars and his dad's cars. So I think I think that's definitely on the to-do list.
One great thing about this job for me is that I can, I love racing cars, especially some of the classic ones of the 70s and early 80s. So it gives me an opportunity to, do some of these cars, like the Capris and the Sierras and bits and pieces that are maybe not the Capris, I'm a bit younger than that, but to be able to watch and that I've watched as a kid and now do them. You mentioned Super Tourers, and that's an era that we potentially look at doing in the future as well. That's my era of touring cars. I grew up watching Cleland and Valisic. That was cool. So
we've got a very basic outline to start off with, so it's just a continuous line going that way to that way with the three cars. So now to get the rest of the background and everything in. So in terms of the actual artwork, this is the box art. How does that get put together then? You were saying you research and you go in. Yeah. How do you to go get those images? How does it start?
So this one is a sort of make-believe idea. These obviously never raced together. But what we do is we sort of brief in our designers and say, look, this is what we want to do. We want to capture all three cars. And on the inside of this box is going to be an image of the signature of Colin Chapman, sort of and some text, sort of push the fact that he designed these cars, he's the genius behind them. And then to actually create the box art, we use a photo. So that's a black and white photo of the Brown Chap start line. And then we superimpose on that. That is the CAD of the actual cars. So we design all our cars using CAD on a computer, obviously. And then we just drop those in, move them around to try and create a realistic-ish looking image. So brief it into our design guy, a chap called Tom, made this. It's actually probably the best thing Tom's ever done. He does some great artwork all the time. I think this just looks fantastic. And then he goes and does his magic, and a week or so later I'll get an email saying, what do you think of this?
That's pretty cool. So it's all. So your place is in the south, isn't it? In Margate, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're based in Margate. It's the old Tryon building. So it's been a toy factory since the 1950s. So it's got great history. It's a nice old listed front of the building. So yeah, it's quite a cool place to work. It's a bit quiet than it was. There's no manufacturing there anymore, but cool place.
Yeah, because I remember I if it's the same building. I went there when I was much younger on a factory tour, and it was the coolest thing. I think we went on a holiday there. It was the coolest thing to go and see.
Yeah, it's a cool site. If anyone is in Margate, and if anything soon, when all this virus stuff has finished, I've got a visitor centre where you can come and look at the railway stuff, the heritage stuff, and play some Scalextric as well. It's a little cafe and a shop there as well, so it's quite a cool little attraction. And where the manufacturing was, we've now got full-size locomotives out the back as well, so it's quite an interesting place to work. The locomotives aren't open to the public yet, but I presume they will be at some point.
Well, that's really cool. So you turn it into like a proper experience centre almost.
Yeah. I mean, we're hoping that that at some point they would be able to have some vehicles and stuff on display there as well. So it'd be really cool to have some cars that would done in Scalextric on display there. But just locomotives at the moment.
That's very cool. So in terms of the latest product, what's been kind of in development for a while, what's just come out, and what in terms of the kind of the actual sets you can get, what's been the latest developments in Scalextric?
Well, the biggest development we've got in sets is something called Sparkplug. So Scalextric as a toy, essentially, even through digital and things like that, hasn't really changed. You hold a hand controller and the car goes around the track as you press the trigger. What we found at events, we do some shopping centre events at things like Blue Water and the Metro Centre, and what we found there is that little kids don't actually play with guns anymore. They don't have an idea what a trigger does. And you hand a controller to a 3 or 4-year-old child, and they look at it with a bit of sort of surprise. And what is this? How does it trigger? How does it work? So what we've done is we developed a little dongle that plugs into the power base where the hand controller normally goes. You download an app on your phone, and rather than using a hand controller, you can use your phone as a wireless control device to move the cars.
Okay.
When you've got 2 of them, you can play versus mode, and you can boost the other person, you can restrict them, you can knock each other off, and it records if you crash. And it gives you a character optimization as well. So we've got a Batman Joker set coming out this year. You can play as any of the DC characters, Batman, Batwoman, Harley Quinn, all these sort of bits and pieces, Joker, Penguin, all these characters. And as the cars go around, knock each other off, it comes up with like a power on the car, you lose a life. So it gives us so much more gameplay, and with wireless controllers, just by people using their smartphones.
So it's much more like kind of an app-based thing, but they've still got the control and learning how to actually control the cars as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best thing is as well, if you've got a small child who's used to playing with an iPad or a smartphone, and you want to have the old school feel of an old school controller, then you can plug a controller in against the smartphone, and off you go. You can have one and the other. It's nice. It doesn't mean you have to use the modern technology. You can do it the old-fashioned way. So
yeah, old fogies like me can still feel the way that we. I mean, I've got a Scalextric in my studio, and it distracts me many an hour. Because I used to have one when I was a kid, and I used to have all of them all lined up in the speed and how fast they were going around the track and all sorts. So it's good to hear that the product is developing with the times almost. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. The spark plug is really easy to use. You get the hang of it within about 4 or 5 laps of a small circuit. But if I have it out at home, then I'll use a normal controller. It's just what you brought up with.
Yeah, it's what you use it. So in terms of developing into the kind of 21st century, and not 21st century, but just kind of develop with the times and such. So do you have a brand ambassador? How do you work with the race teams and stuff to keep Scalextric up to date with what's going on the track?
Yeah, so first of all, we do have a brand ambassador. We work with Andrew Jordan, who is a touring car champion, 2013 champion, and current BMW driver for WSR. So working with Andy is great. He's a really nice guy to work with. He's got a lot of love for the brand, and his historic side of it is brilliant as well, because we can pass some ideas onto him. it's easy to find in cars. And of course, he races the Cortinas. We're doing one of his Cortinas this year, and a Mini that he's going to be racing as well. So, it's working with him is really, really cool. In terms of the race teams, I'm a massive advantage to some of the other slot companies because in the UK and a bit in Europe and America as well, if you ring them up and say, "Hi, I'm from Scalextric, can I come look at your car?" It nearly 99 times out of 100, it gives you a positive response. It's just like you, nearly all the drivers, nearly all the engineers and the team managers, they played with it as a kid. And you can get in to see some amazing stuff simply by just saying, "Yeah, I'm from Scalextric. Do you mind if I come have a poke around?"
They're like, absolutely.
Yeah. It normally follows with a... If they don't mention it on the call, it follows with an email about 2 seconds afterwards. "Oh, by the way, can I have one?" And it's just like, yeah, of course you can. We have a policy whereby if you're a driver and we do your car, we'll send you them. And we'll send them to the team and any of the major sponsors as well because... we can't afford to pay everybody who's involved in motorsport who we then do a car of, but we can, give samples out and give them an occasional set and bits and pieces like that because it's always nice to support the guys who, if Andy and Jordan, Jake Hill, all these guys, if they weren't putting some of their hard-earned and doing all the hard work with their sponsors to race, then we wouldn't be able to do the cars and you guys to buy them. So it's important that we give something a bit back, and I'd like to think that we're pretty good and pretty open with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I say, over the last few weeks, it's been really fortunate. I've been very fortunate to be able to chat with a number of the drivers, including Andy, and hearing their passions and seeing what they do, off track. Because obviously at the moment there is no racing, but they're still very much working hard to make sure their sponsors are happy. Their people, so when they are ready to race, they can go. And that's what we all want, really. Is we want to see cars back on track and Sundays having having touring cars go around, or F1 or whatever, really. So what's been your favourite? So recently I'm doing the DeLorean next. So was that a labour of love, that one? Because that seems to be a really popular one that's been released.
So, full disclosure, because I won't live it down in the office otherwise, I haven't actually ever seen the Back to the Future films, and the DeLorean was an idea of the boss, not of me. I supported it. I knew it was going to be a success, I knew it was a great idea, but he handles a lot more of the pop culture and the entertainment stuff, and I'm the racing car sort of guy. So DeLorean's great, we get some Back to the Future releases out of it, but no one ever slapped a number on it and raced it in that, guys. So that's not so much me. For me, actually, it's the 6-wheel Tyrrells we've just released. The P34s are my labour of love. We looked at we looked at doing it a little while ago, and we weren't sure it was really a feasible project. We did some extra work on it. We released it this year. I had the most brilliant visit when we did the car. Me and the designer, and actually 2 designers, went down and viewed an example which is actually based at Jody Scheckter's house. He's still got one. So on a Wednesday afternoon, a rainy Wednesday afternoon, to go down and see a Formula 1 racing team, we then lead you around back into Jody Scheckter's house, into his garage, where he's got not only his Tyrrell, but a number of other amazing Formula 1 cars. That means that project will always be special to me, because I got to meet him. He's a really nice chap, really good guy to work with. So that's definitely been one of my favourite projects we've worked on recently. The DeLorean has been more successful, just to get that in for the boss. But it's a very different beast, the DeLorean.
Yeah, I certainly went and got the when the new Ford GT came out, and that the level of detail in that one was beautiful. So was that another one that you went and saw the car, and how do you work with the teams? Do you have to use their CAD data, or how does it work?
So it really depends on the car. So for things like the Ford GT, we actually got the CAD data from Ford. They provided it to us. We didn't go and look at one of those because when we needed to, they were off doing because it's a worldwide based car, races all over the place. We just never managed to make schedules meet, I don't believe, with the team, and I certainly didn't get to see one then. I saw one at Goodwood and a motor show and bits and pieces like that, but didn't get sort of a private look at it. With cars that are used more often around the world, so GT3, so things like the Aston and things like that, and the Mercedes, for those, we'll go and see the cars. We'll get the CAD data from either Mercedes or Aston Martin, but we will also go and see them at a particular race team, which is great, because it gives the designers a chance to see the car in the flesh, really understand it rather than just on the screen, and gives me a chance to do some of the work with the team. Can we do your car? Can we have some delivery information? Can you provide us with some of that up front, which is nice.
Yeah, so going back to some of the old stuff, because you've got like the Jägermeister BMWs, haven't you, and all sorts. So is it right? So do you have a favourite, or is it just you like them all for different reasons?
No, I do like the Eggmaster BMWs, actually. It's one of my favourites. The other one I really like this year we've got coming out is the Graham Goods Sierra. It's got the Listerine sort of dragon on the bonnet. And that sort of era, those RS500s and M3s, that's what I remember touring cars being, sliding around under lots of power. The Sierras are a really cool-looking car. So that's one of my favourite this year. It's not a high-profile release. It's not doing the sort of numbers like the DeLorean and the Tyrrell's done and the new Mustang and things like that. But it's a really cool car. That actually, and the little Andrew Jordan Cortina is a favourite as well, just because I quite like I think it's quite cool that it looks so nice, and it's got a member of Take That drive in it, which is pretty cool as well.
So that ticks another box.
Yeah, absolutely. It means I can do ridiculous puns on the product description online, which is great.
So like from design to development, how long does it take? How long? Yeah, I guess if there's the model. If it's like a colour change, I guess it's quicker than it being than a whole new kind of tooling for a whole new model.
Yeah, I mean, a whole new tooling for a model would take about 18 months from design start to the finished one being in the shops. In terms of a new colour scheme, that's a bit different. So on a new colour scheme, what we do is we have a range that we sort out. We just finished it actually for next year. Decide what colour schemes we're going to do. Then we schedule them. And if we start doing the design of it now, it'll probably be in the shops around February, March, that new colour scheme. So a new livery doesn't take a particularly huge amount of time, but that can then be affected though by the licensor. So if it's a PopBang Mark 1 and you as a licensor don't like a bit of colour that we've done in it, or don't like a bit of this or a bit of that, then obviously you can slow that down, and we have to go back and change it, and that can then have a detrimental effect, shall we say, on when it's been released. But a lot of licensors are pretty good, pretty quick, and we can get stuff out, reasonably rapidly in about 9-10 months for a new livery. But then, of course, you've got to depend that on shipping and the factory and whether they get it right.
Yeah. So what? I mean, I guess during this time, this kind of weird time we've been at the moment, has sales increased? Has there been like more people getting out their Scalextrics? Have you noticed? And more orders coming in.
We've certainly noticed a lot more people getting out their Scalextric. Yeah, a number of racing drivers who are using it as a bit of practicing. I've been getting it out. I know Andy's had his couple of bits that we've sent him out with the kids to keep them occupied on an afternoon sort of thing. But yeah, a lot of people are getting them out. We've actually running a competition at the moment. Competition which is finished. It's just like deciding who's won rather, using Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, a lot of people pulling their sets out the loft, getting them out the spare room under the bed, and putting them together and having a play. And that's great. If it gives people a chance just to focus their mind a little bit on something else other than sort of worrying about the world and what's going on, and that's great. And that's exactly what I want people to take from the hobby. And yeah, but business seems to be going pretty well. I don't know how much I can really talk about that as we're a PLC and it's come to the end of the year trading in, but yeah, it's been good. Thankfully the guys at the warehouse have kept open, and a massive thanks to them, keeping the rest of us going really by being able to work and stuff, and we're sending product out, and it's been well received.
And I presume there's quite a kind of I mean, I've been to a couple of like slot car collector fairs and whatnot, because there's quite a cult for it as well, isn't there? Kind of collectors who are kind of going back and re-getting the cars that they maybe had when they were a kid, but also collecting the new stuff. So I guess these box sets are aimed more at the collector side rather than ones playing, opening it up and playing and using it as a toy.
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably guess that I think we're making either a couple of thousand, I think, of this set worldwide, and I would reckon that as many as 3/4 will never see a track. They are bought as collector pieces or as sort of shelf collectibles. They're not bought to race, which is a shame because all three of those cars run pretty well. But yeah, the collector market for Scalextric is absolutely massive, and people go nuts over the craziest things. So we get samples all the time from China, from factories, of just single colour mouldings, check stuff fits, test mouldings, check stuff's the right colour, and all little bits and pieces like that. And due to licensing, unfortunately, now we have to just destroy them. They just go in a big bin and get smashed up. But back in sort of 10, 20 years ago, we used to sell them at events and at auctions and charity bits and pieces like that. And these fetch hundreds of pounds each. These, what we now just bin. I've got bins next to my desk just full of these cars that these collectors would go absolutely crazy for. And we just have to chuck them away. And it always makes me sort of smile at the sort of collector events and the swap meets and stuff, people passing these things around, changing big money on them, thinking I have got hundreds of pounds sat underneath my desk. And I'm just going to bin it when I get back on Monday because I need to clear some space on my feet.
Yeah. So yeah, there'll be some collectors listening, going, "No, keep it."
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, like test DeLoreans in different colours we've got, and you know, all different bits of cars that the tooling didn't quite work properly, so they're absolute one-offs. And yeah, I'll bin them because if it's not approved by the licensor, the DeLorean, if it's not approved by Universal, there's no way that's going out the building, because if they find that and without their permission and catch it, then we could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to the artwork, is it all done by one person? Is it one person? Or is it a team of guys guys and girls, obviously, in the office who are working on that? How does that generate?
It's a team. So we've got a couple of young chaps who do a lot of the artwork for the car, and a young lady actually does a bit of it as well along with her other sort of technical admin role that she does. And they do the artwork. So each car that we do, we have to design a livery as a PDF to go out on an AI file to go out to China, which means basically I get them loads of pictures of the original cars, or as many as I can. They design some artwork on a computer system. That then goes out to China, and then when it's all approved and we come to this stage, then again a couple of young chaps, the same chaps who do the artwork before, then we'll create these images.
And like I say, that looks really awesome. As a kind of a trio of cars, it looks cracking as a set. So hopefully you can kind of start seeing that it's taking place on the piece of paper now, at least. So
I'm really impressed. I like the white wall bit of tyres on the rims on the 49 you've just done. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's getting there. It's getting there. So in terms of a bit of the heritage of Scalextric, how did it start? What's the how long has it been going on for? I remember buying Christmas. I used to get a new car every Christmas and be really excited because my uncle would always buy me a car. I mean, I kind of knew what car it was going to be because my dad would take me to the shop and gone, "Which one do you want this year?" type of thing. But we still wrapped it up and opened it on Christmas Day. What's the heritage behind the brand? And can you kind of explain, give a bit of a kind of quick history of it?
So I'm not an expert on the history of Scalextric, I'll be honest with that. Some people are, and they know a lot about it more than I do, but it was founded in the late 1950s by Fred Francis, who really developed a way of, as you can see, the general idea about it hasn't changed. It's a toy car, electric motor in the back, and a little guide pin at the front that fits in a rail, electric rail that then powers the engine. It was basically originally down in Havant, I believe, in Hampshire, and then was bought by Trying in the 60s and moved over to where it is now in Margate. And it had a heyday in the 1960s, really. It was absolutely massive then, and in the 70s as well. It was the toy at Christmas year after year, and computer games have sort of superseded it in some elements now, although there is a computer game element to Scalextric with our ARC system now. But that's sort of where it's grown from, where it's come from. And a surprising amount of drivers and motorsport innovators sort of cut their teeth on Scalextric. The first chassis that Ross Brawn ever designed was Scalextric cars for use at his local
really?
club. Adrian Newey, he also grew up with Scalextric and modifying them and playing with them as well. These sort of big guys who've done so much for motorsport, and all the drivers that you speak to as well, especially at a certain age, they all they didn't have Scalextric. Slightly older ones definitely bought it for their kids and had their cars when they were at their prime in the 60s, 70s as well. So, it has got such a rich history. It does feel like a real honour to be able to be continuing that along with new products. So
do you get a lot of do you get a lot of like requests coming in? Do you get people like saying, "Oh, could you remake this? Could you do that?" So do you get a lot of people going, "Oh, I had this as a kid. Could you? Is this going to be one of the new ones?"
Yeah, all the time, and I love it. I think that's great. As soon as you start getting that on your social media, we get it a lot on FX, but on Scalextric, we're starting to get it more and more. It's brilliant. As soon as we announced the DeLorean, it was, "Oh, great! Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this film? Can you do Kit, Ecto 1, can you do more Bond stuff?" And it's really cool that we get that, because frankly it makes my job easier. If people are screaming and shouting for a particular type of car, then absolutely I love that, because it gives me a good opportunity to say to the business, "Look, I need this bit of investment, this bit of money to get this license," because it's only 50 people in a thread of comments, but 25 of them are asking for this. So I love that, and people should always do that. Email in, put comments on our pages of, "I like that Mustang, but why can't you do a a 68 or a 67 Mustang rather than another 71. We love that sort of stuff. So it's great.
So very much get follow, like and follow, and get in touch via socials to see what your latest offerings are going to be.
Yeah, totally. And it's got to the point where we have drivers with some of their cars as well emailing them and say, like, oh, can you do my car? We had quite a famous Jaguar owner and car emailing quite recently. And it's something we have considered anyway. So it's great to be able to, rather than me trying to find his contact details, I've already got them. So when we get round to doing that car, now I can just give him a shout. And I know he's got his permission already. I know he's excited about it. We can get the ball rolling. So
what will the next steps for that? Will you go and go and see the car and chat to him and be like, right, this is how we're going to do it?
Yeah. I've already had a phone call with the guy, and then we'll go from there. We'll have a chat. We'll go see the car. We'll take a load of photos of it. Maybe scan it. It depends on the shape. If we can get any good information from elsewhere, and we'll go from there. I was hoping to see him at Goodwood and maybe a few other race meets, but it may have to be postponed a bit.
Yeah. I'm sure it will happen. So yeah. But we are near now. Would you like the Scalextric logo at the top there, or do you just want it? Would you like it just as the car?
If we've got time,
We've got a little time. Yeah, as long as you're good for time, I'm good for time. That's all right. Because the Scalextric logo's had a bit of an update recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, we went for a sort of black and grey, sort of posh-looking logo for a little bit, and it's just didn't really suit with the brand. So we've gone back to the yellow and blue, and there's slightly different elements to it and stuff. So it looks much better now, I think.
Yeah, it goes a bit nicer. I'm just going to add that into it at the top. It shouldn't be too long. So have you is it been working from home for a while then, or?
Yeah, been working from home since the middle of March. So I'm really fortunate. I'm able to work from home without any problems whatsoever. The only slight issues I do have are the fact that when samples come in, my colleague has to take a photo of them and send it across to me, which only get delivered to one house, and I don't live near him. So that's a bit irritating, a bit of an issue, a bit of a problem. But other than that, I'm able to work from home without any issue whatsoever, except for being nagged for food by the cats and sitting far too close to the fridge. That is healthy, but other than that, fine.
Yeah, our cat is, I think she's just fed up with us now. I think she's just like, can you not be in our house anymore?
Mine's worked out that if I'm on a call and working on a meet or something, she comes along and headbutts me, I'm going to feed her, because otherwise her meowing at me is on the interrupting everybody else.
Yeah, as is a bit, I don't know, a bit grumpy. She's but she always has been. But that's the weird and wonderful world of cats for you. I'm really good at spelling things wrong when I'm not concentrating. So sorry for the slight. Has there been any questions on the old live feed there for anybody?
Somebody has. I found that if someone rounds a corner too fast, your car's in particular have an issue with it. The cylinder where you pop the guide pin, it breaks, used to be something to fix. Yeah, I think obviously we try and knock some plastic out of things, make them a bit lighter, but still keep them nice and resilient. And sometimes, obviously, if you do have a crack in the chassis with any of our new cars, which can happen, just contact any issues with any of our cars, contact our customer services team, and they'd be happy to either send out a new part or to advise you how you can fix it. So any issues like that, just give us a shout and we can go through them. I don't think there's any other questions on here. No. Someone's asked who we're chatting with. My name's Simon. I'm from Scalextric. Love to see some of the IMSA DPIs in slot car form. Yeah, so would I. Those would be really cool things to do. The only issue with some of those sort of LMPs is that per team they're sort of bespoke, and we need to get lots of deliveries out of a release, so it can be a bit of a difficult one to do.
I guess it's got to be a like when you create a McLaren, you can do different colours on it. If it's one particular model, I guess it gets quite tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with things like the touring cars, for instance, we never did a Subaru Levorg because they really ran in pretty much one livery the whole time. Yeah, there was the Josh Price car, which was a slightly different livery, and then they did the black and white one, but it didn't really change that much. Yeah. It was all pretty much the same liveries year in, year out. Even the free team cars were the same. Whereas the Civics we've done and the BMWs, this year we're bringing out last year's brand new 3 Series. Colin and Andrew run completely different liveries, and we hoped that this year they'd be a different colour, and they are. They're black rather than the white and the blue. So it means we're going to get 3 very distinct liveries, whereas we didn't really get that as much with the Subaru, so that's why we couldn't do that car in the end. And with the BMW as well, there's a chance to use it in some different applications. So that's, how we choose some of the cars.
Yeah. Right, I think we are pretty much. Yeah, we're nearly there. So thank you so much, mate, for
That's all right.
for taking some time out and chatting about it. It's really cool. I'm just going to add a little bit, just tweak that a little bit. So just lift the logo out a little bit. But I think I think a PopBangColour car would look amazing as a Scalextric car. I think.
Yeah, I'm sure we could sort something out.
I think it look amazing because there's been a few different liveries I've designed. So I've just lost my pen now. Yeah, I think it's that one there. There we are. Perfect. Right. So in terms of all your socials and stuff, so if people want to get in touch, what's your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? What are they all on the network?
It's really just all at official Scalextric. So just go in the search. For Instagram it's at official Scalextric. Facebook it's again official Scalextric. I think the same on Twitter. So just have a quick look at that in the search bar. We'll pop straight up. As long as it's got a yellow and blue logo, then that's us.
Wicked. Right. So there is. I was really worried about this one because I was like 3 cars. That's really going to be really hard.
Yeah, we were a bit mean. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I was like, oh, that's a really after doing single cars and double cars. I was like, 3 cars. That's a. But it wouldn't have been fair to like not just done one. It was about all 3, and that's what the set about. So is this set available to pre-order now?
It's available to pre-order now, and it will be released, I would expect, around October, November, so it makes a brilliant Christmas present for somebody. But yeah, it's available on our website and various other stockists as well to pre-order.
So check out the Scalextric's website for all of that. That's awesome. I'll just do that. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's got the hill thing in there, and then next up is going to be your DeLorean, where I'm chatting to Alex about that. Cool. I'm sure he's very much a sci-fi guy, so I'm sure he'll have lots of factoids about the film as well.
Far more than I will, yeah. Brilliant.
No, he's a good egg, Alex. And I think he wrote a thing recently on Drive Tribe about Scalextric as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll point him to that. Right, so there we are, chap. There is number 294. There we are. Is the legend, the genius of Colin Chapman Team Lotus Triple Pack Legends set.
Brilliant.
There we are. Hope you like. There we are. There it is at the screen. Here we are.
Brilliant.
And I'll get that posted on socials ASAP. So thank you so much for chatting, mate. Really, really appreciate it. And
Thank you very much for having me.
we'll catch up soon.
Cheers, mate. Hope to see you soon.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.